want to begin by thanking every single one of you in this room for taking the time tonight to come out and be here, because this is the basis of our parliamentary tradition, our Westminster parliamentary democracy. And democracy begins with people participating. It's interesting to think that in the next year, all over Canada, in rooms like this, we will have people choosing who will take their voice to Ottawa. It's no light matter. It's important work. And that's why I am incredibly honored and humbled that you have once again selected me to be the candidate for the Liberal Party of Canada in North Okanagan-Shuswap. In preparing for this speech tonight, I thought back to September 27th, 2014. I was a political neophyte. I was untested, I was unknown. And I know how important it was to me at the time to convince you that I was a credible candidate, that I was a candidate that you would be proud of, that you could take to your family, to your friends, to your co-workers, to your community, and you could support. And many of you in this room tonight were there in 2014. But for those of you who weren't, I want you to know a little bit about me. I want you to know that I have deep roots in this riding. I have lived here almost my entire life. I want you to know that I have small business in my DNA. Like Karen, we are daughters of retailers, small business. We know what it's like. I would also like you to know that I started my own law practice, which turned out to be a very good move and a successful practice when I was 24. I since sold my practice, and I have been sitting on various appeal tribunals for the province of British Columbia, including the Environmental Appeal Board, where I served as a term as the vice chair for the province. And I also want you to know a little bit about my community work. I have a long record of community service, and I seem to be putting my hand up all the time for various things, and that hasn't stopped. If you ask me what I was really proud of, I would say it was being part of the small group in Salmon Arm that started the Shuswap Community Foundation. And I served as president of the foundation for many years. I was awarded the Queen's Diamond Jubilee Medal for Community Service, and that was an incredible honor to me. And finally, you should know that I too am passionate about rescue dogs. I'm passionate about the environment, the outdoors, and trails. So last time, a lot of you in here did find me to be a credible candidate. And you came forward and you gave your time, you gave your money, and you gave your reputation to make this riding a huge success story in 2015. No, we didn't win the election, but oh boy, we came a very, very strong second. We came in at 30%, coming up from 7% and fourth behind the Green Party of Canada. And even more exciting, we took the Conservatives from 56% to 39%. So in doing that, we have changed the political landscape in North Okanagan-Shuswap. This is no longer a safe Conservative seat. And I will venture that there is no safe Conservative seat any longer in British Columbia. So 2019, this race is going to be between the Liberals and the Conservatives. It's going to be tough. We're going to need to work very, very hard, but we can win it. So why am I running? you can be sure that I have had some really long conversations with my best friend and husband, Don Derby. Because stepping up to run again has meant a really big commitment. It means another very intense year. It means that I need to step down from my position on the appeal courts. There is a significant cost to our family, both financially and in terms of time. And there are many reasons to run again, to build on the success of 2015. I want to share one story with you that is very recent. Last Wednesday night, Dawn and I were at the Kelowna airport with a small group of sponsors. We were waiting for a refugee family to arrive. Another refugee family of 5 from Syria. They had fled homes during the Civil War, and they had lived for many years in a refugee camp in Jordan. I thought, this is the 4th time since 2016 that our small group of sponsors has made a trip to an airport in the interior of British Columbia to welcome refugees to our area. And then I thought, as the baggage carousel clunked along and 2 great big suitcases came aloft and a couple of smaller bags, I realized that these people had come with all of their world possessions that fit on 2 trolleys at the Kelowna airport. And I thought of my paternal grandparents, the Hallicks and the Derkazes, who came as immigrants to this country in the early 1900s. They came from the Ukraine. They met and married in Canada, and they moved to the Ball Prairie in the cold and lived a very, very hard scrabble life. And I felt, once again, a connection with the people who are coming here, because they are coming with the goal of giving their children a better life. And I'm proud of the Trudeau government. I am so very proud of the focus on an open and inclusive Canada that allows refugees and immigrants to come to Canada, where they can find peace, where they can find solace, and where they can be safe and build a future for themselves and for their children. And it makes me want to work really hard. I don't want to return to the negative, mean-spirited years that we saw during the Harper Conservative government. I remember the government being tough on immigration and even tough on the Supreme Court of Canada, tough on science and scientists. And as for the missing and murdered Indigenous women, well, that wasn't even on the radar. And as it turns out, they were actually tough on the economy with subpar growth and high unemployment. So we must work very hard to keep the real change that the Trudeau government has brought us going. And as many of you will know, this team has never stopped working since 2015. We have been out there. We have been at events. We have knocked on doors. We have networked all over this 17,000 square kilometer riding, from Seymour Arm to Solista to Anglemont to Chase to Malacqua to Edgewood and Cherryville and Lumby and Armstrong and Vernon and Salmon Arm and all the points in between. And we've learned, we've listened, and we've learned. We have built friendships, we've built networks. We have honed our political skills. And we're ready. We have a wonderful team from 2015, but we also have a lot of new members, supporters, new volunteers with lots of skills who are bringing their passion for the job ahead. Many of you have heard me say this before, and our Prime Minister says this. Better is always possible. And I believe that's true right here in the North Okanagan-Shuswap. It's been really hard to get our voices heard in Ottawa. We can change that in 2019. I firmly believe that this riding is going to be better served by having an effective and experienced representative at the table in Ottawa. And I'm prepared to be that representative. I have skills, I have energy, and I have passion. And what will I do? I will take your voice to Ottawa. I will support reconciliation. I will tell the truth about our history, because reconciliation starts right here in this riding by listening, by learning, and by dealing directly with the Secwepemc and Syilx people. I will advocate hard for North Okanagan-Shuswap to see some of that infrastructure money, to see some of the money from the first ever national housing strategy that's putting $40 billion into this country for housing in the next 10 years. We have started in this riding with some great projects. They need funding. I will be a strong voice, because I believe that everybody needs a safe place to call home. And I believe we need to help with affordable housing. We need to help people with their first homes. I will fight hard to protect our fresh water, including fighting to the threat for the invasive zebra and quagga mussels. I will also fight for closed containment salmon aquaculture in British Columbia. The time has come. I will support pharmacare. We need a national universal pharmacare plan that is affordable for Canadians, for employers, employees, and for governments. I support tax reform. We need a fairer and simpler system. And I will advocate for true economic diversification and rural policy that will be effective in North Okanagan-Shuswap. I promise I will listen to you. I want to know what keeps you up at night. Well, on the federal front, anyway. My door is open. You can talk to me. I will work hard and with integrity. I will always be respectful and authentic. And I will represent this riding with passion, enthusiasm, and humility. So that's the deal. Now's the pitch. We need volunteers. And as has been said, we have lots of jobs to do and a job to start right away. Please see Megan if you're interested in volunteering. She has many opportunities at her fingertips. And we need money. You all know that, or expected that probably when you came, that there would be a pitch for money. Something that you might not know is that we need to raise all of the money here in this riding. We do not get financial support from national. And you also need to know that the Conservatives are well funded. They outspent us last time, and I'm sure that they are getting prepared to do that again. So if you want to take advantage of 2 tax years, 2018 and 2019, and of the extremely generous tax credits, please see Don Derby, my ever-ready fundraiser at the back, because he can show you how you can give more and save more, and it's all magic. So, there are the new shoes. It's time that we put on our running shoes and we hit the ground running to win this riding in 2019. Because with hope and hard work, We can get this done. Thank you.